Well, happy new year to you all. Blwyddyn newydd dda. We are at the beginning of 2026 and a few days away from wildcard round. This is always um, obviously something that we always look forward to. You never know what's going to happen in the wildcard rounds, and especially when it's been 3 or 4 years now since the NFL have added an extra team, that seventh team. So we've got 6 games going on over the weekend. So like maybe kind of this year, this season was a little bit out of norm, where we knew before the end of the regular season, we knew at the end of week 16 who were going to be the teams in the playoff picture. We kind of didn't know altogether A, who was going to win the division, and B, who were the matchups going to be. So now everything is set in stone per se. And before I bring Git on, I say Happy New Year, Happy 2026 to Gito. We're just going to say, Gito, that the winners of the AFC turns out to be the Denver Broncos, and the Seattle Seahawks are the number one seed in the NFC. So I'm pretty sure that in my predictions, looking back to that, I didn't have any of those teams close to the number one seed. I can't actually
Mm.
remember who I. Oh no, I do remember now. I said that the Chicago Bears would win the NFC, and I thought the Patriots would win the AFC as well.
Mm.
I'm not sure if you can remember back, Guitar. So this, yeah, who'd have thought, Guitar? I mean, the Kansas City Chiefs are out to the playoffs.
Yeah.
The Cincinnati Bengals are out of the playoffs, although that is no shock and horror anymore. The Baltimore Ravens are out of the playoffs, and on the NFC side, the Detroit Lions are out of the playoffs. This is absolutely wild. To a neutral, Guitar, surely this is the best thing that could happen to the NFL, because new up and coming teams are potentially joining, or coming back to the playoffs. We're talking about Chicago, haven't been there for, gosh, 4 5, maybe 6 years. Maybe the turn of the screw in the NFC North. What do you make of these? First of all, what do you make of the final positioning, the ones that are set in stone, and the new intake of the teams that we have in this year's playoffs?
Yeah, it's been one crazy season to say the least. Obviously, with we did not expect most of these teams to make the playoffs. You're looking at teams like the Jacksonville Jaguars, the Carolina Panthers made it ahead of Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who's been in the last 4 or 5 playoffs.
Yeah.
The Patriots making a return. The Steelers, luckily made it through
Oh,
a missed
I
kick
know.
in that
By the
Ravens
skin of
game.
their teeth.
And the Chicago Bears are one of the stories of the season. So it's been an absolute crazy season. It's been an enjoyable season if you're a beginner to the NFL, if you're a neutral. For us, long-time fans as well, even if your team doesn't do well, you enjoy watching the other teams play. And it's been a really enjoyable season to watch. I don't believe we've got 5 out of 5 in any of our 5 of the weeks though, Ed. It's been that kind of season, so
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
been
yeah.
difficult to predict every game. You look at the Colts; they started the season 8-1, and they missed out on the playoffs. It
Mad.
was a massive turnaround there, which is unfortunate for them. But they've had the
Mm.
season to remember as well. So, and yeah, from the very beginning, we've had some incredible matches, incredible games, and we're in for a very class playoff run as well, which I'm very looking forward to.
Guitar, I don't know. I can't remember a season where some of the per se some of the worst teams, or some of the teams that finish with the worst records in the NFL. We're talking about now. Think about where the Patriots, where the Bears, where the Jaguars have
Mm.
been, even last season, missing the playoffs, and now, you know, two of them won the division. Jacksonville won the division. The Patriots won the the AFC East. Um, Going from literally from zero to hero per se, and then again Chicago coming out of the north as well, and jumping the Detroit Lions, which is absolutely crazy. I can't remember a season where you've gone from one and dones to, the turnaround on some of these teams have been absolutely incredible. The birth of perhaps some um potential superstars. Gito, we have to Drake May has had potentially an MVP season. We'll find out in the next couple of weeks. I
Yeah,
have to say Caleb Williams has emerged as one of the best, definitely a top 10 QB if you ask me this season.
yeah, yeah.
He started off, I think we've noted, he started off, we weren't sure, Gito, at one point, if he was going to be benched. And then
Mm,
all of a sudden, he's changed it around, and he's had a absolutely phenomenal season. Another one that's changed his fortunes around, Gito. And I think we gave him pretty much an ultimatum at the beginning of the season. Trevor Lawrence,
yeah,
look
yeah,
what's happened to him. I mean, I have to say another thing, Gito. The stats are incredible. Think of how many first year coaches:
yeah.
Vrabel, Liam Cohen, and then Ben Johnson in Chicago. All of those teams have first year coaches that have gone to the playoffs and even won their divisions. I think it's absolutely bonkers what's going on at the moment. But
Mm,
that, as a Dolphins fan, that gives me hope because I know we've got a lot of work to do. I'm not going to rant about the Dolphins today because there's so much insecurity and we probably will know more this time next week. However, Gitter, I am going to give you the floor because again, even though the Panthers, it wasn't it the Panthers, the Bucks, and the Falcons in the end finished with exactly the same record.
yeah. So the NFC South this season was probably one to forget. It was the top three teams: the Panthers, the Bucks, and us Falcons, and ended with an 8-9 season. Obviously, the Falcons were eliminated way before that because we just couldn't catch up in the end. Yeah, so the Falcons situation this week, we won the last four games. Surprisingly enough, after we got eliminated, we started winning games with
Yeah.
Kirk Cousins in the helm. Um, but as of Monday, or what was it called, Dark Monday, Raheem Morris, our head coach, has been fired, and Terry Fontenot has been fired, our general manager. So, did I expect this to happen? Probably not so soon. I think Terry Fontenot was gone. I think his time was up. He's been at the Falcons for about 4 or 5 years now. I think his time was up. I think we need a new GM. Raheem Morris, I genuinely believe that he saved his job in the last four games. We beat the Rams, we beat the Bucks, we did the sweep against the Saints. We were also 4-1 in primetime games, which is very impressive. So we won 4 or 5 primetime games. What's sad though is we lost to the teams like the Jets. We lost to the Dolphins. We lost to the Panthers before the Panthers actually became a really good team, where they beat us 30-0. Still don't know what happened there. But we still ended up a season 8-9, which was the same record as the Buccaneers and the Panthers, but they had everything to fight for in that final weekend. So, yeah, with Raheem Morris, it's difficult to see. I liked him as a person. I liked him as, he brought some positivity to the team, which is, we didn't have that with the previous coach. Um, so I was quite surprised to see him go, but I do think it was probably the correct decision to make by Arthur Blank, the Falcons owner. He's brought out a letter after the two sackings. I'm not going to get into much details of the letter, but he sounds pretty serious about wanting this team to be in a championship level, which is, with the teams that we've got, I think is where the Falcons should be. We are a championship caliber team. We've got one of the best offense. We've had a very impressive defensive season as well, with our new rookies and everything. So it's going to be interesting to see who's going to come in and take over the role of Raheem Morris, our head coach, and the general manager as well. So you have to be excited. You have to be excited. It's a new era. They're looking at a new president of football as well, which I believe will go to Matt Ryan. There's a lot of rumours that Matt Ryan will be
Yes, I
part of
saw that.
the staff, so that's something positive. Having Matt Ryan in that squad, in that backroom staff, will bring a lot of positivity to the team as well, especially with the quarterbacks that we've got. And I believe as well, just recently, they've altered Kirk Cousins' contract as well. So this was breaking news just a couple of hours ago, actually. So
Mm.
they altered it a little bit. I'm not going to get into full details, but I believe they've saved around 20 or 30 million cap space just by altering his contract. He still has a contract up until 2027, but apparently they've saved quite a bit of money from that. So another positive note there. So whoever's coming in, they've got quite a difficult job to come to, but a very exciting one as well. Obviously, no first round pick in the upcoming draft. They've got some free agents that we need to look at. Do we give Kyle Pitts his fifth year option? Some notable free agents, I'll go through this quickly. Tyler Algier, which I do believe he will be leaving the Falcons. I believe he wants to challenge himself as a RB1 for the team, and that's absolutely fair enough. He's been a great servant for us. Obviously, nobody's going to replace Bijan Robinson in his team, so other notable free agents, we've got Caden Ellis, who I am a big fan of, and I really hope they do keep him. Arnold Ebiketie and David Onimata as well are two names that we should be focusing on as well, I believe. So it'll be interesting to see who comes in as the head coach for the Falcons. And like I said, I believe this is an exciting time and something to look forward to as Falcons fans.
Well, Gito, first of all, I hadn't heard about the Cousins extension. Have well, my first question would be, have they so they haven't extended the deal.
No, no,
It's
no.
basic. Probably, I'm guessing that's what they've done. Then they've changed the money. That's what they've done, is they've probably given him a signing bonus, which basically gives the Falcons more flexibility in terms of the cap, going into free agency in a couple of months' time. I'm guessing that's what's happened. We'll have a look at that and come back to it, because that's very, very, very interesting. Because to be honest with you, Guitar, I mean, the way the Cousins finished the year, I don't know where this leaves Michael Penix coming off an ACL tear, because he's going to be unavailable for what, half of the season potentially.
He won't be ready for
He's
the
gonna
beginning. No.
he's gonna miss at least half the season,
Yeah,
if not the first 6 games at least. Um, so I'm guessing that the Falcons are going to be riding with Kirk Cousins from week 1 next year. And like you said, I think the Falcons is a very, very attractive job
yeah,
to a head coach. The only thing that I would say, if I was a Falcons GM or a CEO, Gito, would you like to see a first-time head coach like Raheem Morris, which I am a big fan of? I think he's going to be an outstanding defensive coordinator wherever he goes.
yeah,
I'd love for him to come to Miami if we lose Anthony Weaver, because he's up for 2 head coaching jobs at the moment, and I think he will be
yeah.
poached very, very soon.
Yeah.
Um, would you want a first-time head coach, or would you want a coach that was more experienced?
Just a quick note on Raheem Morris. I do wish him well. I really do. I do hope he finds another job. I believe he's due for an interview with the Tennessee Titans, I believe.
Right. Okay.
So I do wish him all the best. I do hope he finds something, and I think he will find something. Even
Absolutely.
if it's a job in the DC role. Obviously, you don't know what's going to happen with the Miami Dolphins. The
Mm.
Cowboys have just fired their DC Matt Eberflus as well, so
Yeah,
could be
Eberflus
an
has
opening
gone.
there for
Yeah.
him as well. But wherever he ends up, he'll truly deserve it, I think, and I do wish him all the best. In terms of who I want to see as the head coach for the Falcons,
Mm.
yeah, it's a difficult one. Do I want to see a first-time head coach? If that person has the right mentality, the right, knows what he's doing, if he's worked around good people,
Yes.
you have to start somewhere. Of course you do. The name I've actually written down here, which does excite me a little bit, is the
Hmm.
offensive coordinator. And I do believe that this name is going to be on everyone's radar who is looking for a head coach as well, not just the Falcons. So we're going to have to fight really hard for this name, I believe. The offensive coordinator for the Seahawks, Clint Kubiak, he's going to be
Kubiak.
on everyone's radar who is looking for a head coach. He's going to be interviewing everywhere. The Falcons have asked for an interview, so
Mm-hmm.
we'll wait and see about that. And that one does excite me a little bit. If we're looking at two, I've written down two head coaches, which might be a little bit unlikely, but
Mm-hmm.
with what's happened this season and depending on the playoffs as well, I've written down John Harbaugh of the Ravens and Matt
Yeah.
LaFleur of the Green Bay Packers as well.
Okay.
Obviously, depending what will happen with after the playoffs, if they make it through or not, we'll wait and see. John Harbaugh, he's questionable right now, I believe, after they've not made the playoffs for the first time in a while.
Mm.
And another offensive coordinator that might be looking as well is Mike LaFleur of the LA Rams. I think that's
Yeah.
another exciting name as well. So if you an offensive coordinator of a good team such as the Seahawks, such as the Rams, who wants to challenge themselves as a head coach, Raheem Morris has been here, there, and everywhere. He's been coaches of everywhere. There's been some breaking news about the Lions. We'll get to that in just a moment.
Oh.
But yeah, we will. It will. So yeah, Clint Kubiak and Mike LaFleur for me does sound a little bit interesting to me, and I'm very looking forward to seeing where we're going to end up with that. So yeah, just get into the breaking news quickly for the regarding the Detroit Lions, and it has
What's going on with the Lions?
their OC. I've lost the
Yeah.
name, but they've fired their OC, the Detroit Lions.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. I'm not surprised, Guto. I'm not
Mm.
surprised at all. I think there's going to be a bit of a turnaround there with what's gone wrong in Detroit, and I think they're going to go back to basics. And listen, I mean, I'd throw another name in there as well. I mean, one name that's going to be up there. He's probably going to be interviewing for head coaching jobs around the league. He's a former head coach. He's been the OC of the Washington Commanders for the last 2 years.
Mm.
And that is I've literally just lost his name now. Kingsbury, sorry.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
Former head coach of the Arizona Cardinals when they had an exceptional couple of seasons under Kyler Murray a couple of years ago before he was fired. Cliff Kingsbury, and then he went to college football, and now he's been back, and he's been, like I said, he's been the OC of the Washington Commanders. Obviously, we see what he's been able to do with Jaden Daniels last year. Obviously, the Commanders have had a terrible season this year, a lot to do with
Yeah.
injuries per se. But anyway, he's back on the block per se, and I'm just looking at the Falcons roster there. What he could do with offensively with what you have
Mm.
with Bijan, with Drake London, I think he'd be a fantastic fit as a
Yeah.
head coach. Um, like you said, the Falcons have been surprisingly efficient on defense. I think you've done really really well in the draft, so it's good to see that you've drafted well there.
Mm.
So you've got a lot of talent on defense as well. But honestly, Guitar, like there have been some time, like the Falcons are probably one of the most frustrating teams in the NFL because when they're on, we've seen them we've seen them in games against the Rams, especially the games in against Buffalo when they absolutely spanked the Bills. Like,
Yeah.
but then, and like you said, but then somehow losing to the Dolphins and the Jets as well. So obviously the talent is there. I know Drake London. You've been dealing with a lot of injuries. London's been out injured. Penix was injured. Kirk Cousins, wasn't playing at his best towards the beginning of his stint. Clearly, towards the end, when he got some more game time and more prep, I guess, in the week, he was firing on all cylinders. Bijan Robinson as well has had such a high ceiling, low floor. Like he's either the best running back in the NFL, or he looks very, very average, and he
Mm.
fumbles a lot and does a lot of mental mistakes. So basically, the Falcons just need some sort of consistency. And I
Yeah.
really do
Yeah.
think Cliff Kingsbury would bring that to you as a head coach. Whether he's going to be considered is another one, Gito. But anyway, obviously, you mentioned that there was Black Monday yesterday.
Yeah.
Um, a lot of coaches have gone. Gito, you've mentioned some of them before. Do you know if you want to mention maybe a firing that you weren't expecting?
Fire I wasn't expecting. I don't think I was truly surprised by any of them, to be honest with you. You're looking at the Raiders, you're looking at the Cardinals,
Yeah,
the Cleveland Browns as well, who was Kevin Stefanski, by the way, who I believe the Falcons have inquired about as well. I was a little bit nervous about that one, Kevin Stefanski, but then looking at his resume, two-time Coach of the Year, and he's been
oh,
to the playoffs twice
Gito,
over the draft.
I literally, if you get Kevin Stefanski, honestly, that is probably the best outcome for the Falcons. Either him or Cliff Kingsbury for me. Like you said, two-time Coach of the Year, Kevin Stefanski. I
Yeah.
think I think what's happened in Cleveland is more of a kind of a managerial issue and
Mm,
things obviously every the Deshaun Watson saga and
yeah.
things have gone downhill since then. They haven't been able to get a quarterback for the last 2 or 3 seasons. Shedeur Sanders is going to be on the block, I think. So is probably just that someone's told me that Dylan Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders might be traded over the free agency. So I don't know what's going to happen there. Yeah, Klings. I was going to say Stefanski would be one heck of a head coach.
Mm,
Definitely.
yeah. Yeah, no, yeah. At first, it didn't excite me as much, but then looking at his resume and everything and what he's done, it could be a decent potential name for the Falcons.
Mm.
Another firing, Pete Carroll, which doesn't come as a surprise at all. It
No,
was more surprising that he actually got the job in the first place with
absolutely, yeah.
the Raiders. I think that's another interesting job to go to as well. They're obviously the number one pick. They were obviously one of, if not, apart from the Jets, the worst team of the season, maybe.
Absolutely.
Uh,
The Raiders are a mess, Skipper. That's all I can
they
say.
are.
They're an absolute mess.
It will be a massively long project, I believe, for the Raiders. You've got Ashton Genty as a running back who you can build around him, of course. I think he's going to be a really good running back in the future.
Mm.
Like I said, number one pick in the NFL in the draft coming up as well. Tom Brady at the helm as well. So you've got some good backing up there. And also, I read about this morning. They have, I don't remember the exact figure, but the highest salary cap out of all the teams. So a lot
Mm.
of money to work around with. So it would be interesting to see who goes there. Um, Another one I've written down here. I'm very disappointed with the Arizona Cardinals. I just think they're a very boring team.
Mm.
There's just no excitement in the team whatsoever. There's just nothing there. There's a lot to work on. So I do believe whoever takes over that role, they'll have to make a massive splash in the free agency, and they're number 3 in the draft as well.
Yeah.
So they can get a really good young up and comer hit there. But at the moment, there's just no excitement with me with the Arizona Cardinals. I think there's a lot of work there as well, David.
Yeah, well, I mean, they've got Trey McBride, which has broken, all sorts of records for the Arizona Cardinals. Probably, well, definitely a top three tight end in the league. And you've got Marvin Harrison Jr. obviously going into his third season as wide receiver. The thing that they're going to look out for, Gito, without a shadow of a doubt, they're going to hope that one of the QBs are going to drop to them at the top. Um, so
So,
they're definitely gonna help.
David, I apologize to interrupt you. John Harbaugh has been fired.
You're
John Harbaugh,
joking.
Ravens fire head coach John Harbaugh after 18 seasons.
Come to
Wow.
Miami, John. Come to Miami. You know you want to come to Miami. Oh,
Come to
do you
the
know what?
Falcons.
I had a feeling. I had a feeling. Do you know what? We've been waiting
Wow.
all season long for one of
For
these moments
breaking
to
news.
happen.
And we've
How
got it.
about that?
Yes. Get the fireworks.
I mean, listen, John
Oh,
Harbour has been with the Ravens for
18
50,
seasons.
18 seasons. He's won
Yeah.
us 2 Super Bowls. I'm not surprised. I think the writing was on the wall. There were so many whispers and rumors within the last month of the season that he would be a candidate to be fired. But wow, that is a massive, massive call. And
Wow.
he jumps to the top of head coaches in the league. He's above Stefanski for me. He is gonna be courted by so many teams over the next couple of days. Oh my god, that is yeah, as you say, that is a blockbuster. That is huge.
We've
Wow,
just got a
that's
breaking news
incredible.
here on the podcast.
That's
Amazing.
incredible.
That's
Wow.
incredible. Wow.
So
That's
yeah,
that's
so
a that's a
so
heavy job to go to as well
well,
now. As
well,
well.
Gito, do you know what that takes us really, really nicely onto another team potentially within the same division as the Baltimore Ravens, which I cannot believe that they haven't fired their coach. Do you know who I'm talking about?
Who was that?
The Our beloved Cincinnati Bengals, Gito. I mean, how they haven't fired their coach and they haven't even fired their defensive coordinator, Gito. They're running it back once again. Zach Taylor, I'm sorry. He's been to one Super Bowl, but apart from that, he has done absolutely jack shit. And I'm sorry about the language, but the Bengals have had the probably one of the worst defenses in the last 4 or 5 years, which they haven't even dealt with at all. I think honestly, in terms of an organization, what an absolute joke they are. Absolute joke. Spending all this money on wide receivers and obviously getting Joe Burrow, but can't even build a decent offensive line because now, unfortunately, Joe Burrow, although he's a fantastic quarterback, he is, let's be honest, Gito, he's an injury prone quarterback. You have to call him that. I can't remember the last time Joe Burrow lasted a whole season, and he's into year 7 now. So I was absolutely, I was completely, oh well, I couldn't believe when I saw the news. If I was a Bengals fan, I would boycott the whole season because to me that is an absolute farce how he hasn't been fired, especially over the they've had two, if not three, losing seasons in a row. And I just can't even comprehend why he's not there. But anyway, that doesn't matter now because the fact that John Harbour has left, and obviously we'll wait to see. Get on. Do you know what? I wouldn't be surprised if the Steelers lose on Sunday or whenever they play, Saturday or Sunday. Um, and I think there's a good chance that they will because the Texans are probably one of the best defenses in the NFL. Is Mike Tomlin going to be? Is he going to be fired as well?
Well, Mike Tomlin has been with the Steelers for over 10, 15 years as well, I believe. And he hasn't had a losing season, which is
Correct.
very. You don't get that a lot in the NFL. So he's doing something right. And he's won a division for the first time in a while with Aaron Rodgers on the helm. We will get to the predictions later on
Yeah.
for the Steelers Texans. They're playing on Monday night, by the way.
Monday
So,
night. Okay.
oh, is it Monday night? Or is it? Yes, Monday night game. So it will be a late game here in the UK. I'm still not over John Harbour being fired. Wow,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm still catching my breath on that one. It's wow, unbelievable. But yeah, Mike Tomlin, that'll be one to keep an eye on as well, especially after the Wildcard weekend. If he makes it through to the Wildcard weekend, and if he loses the divisional, I think he'll still be in the job with the Steelers next season.
I agree.
But if he loses this one against the Texans, there will be questions.
Do you know what? I mean, the Steelers haven't been relevant for a long, long, long time now, and I know they've been through the carousel, the QB carousel over the last couple of years since Ben Roethlisberger retired, obviously. But I mean, can I'm just like, obviously our NFL chat is going absolutely wild because everyone's talking
I'm just
about
replying to it.
can you, I just actually saw a really, really interesting. Imagine if Kevin Stefanski would go to the Baltimore Ravens. Goodness me, that would be very, very interesting. But anyway, get on. Let's finish this off because this has been absolutely incredible. Those are the main firings for me. another one that I have to say that I'm surprised is I'm very, very surprised that Aaron Glenn hasn't been fired from the New York Jets as well. But to be honest with you, if you were to fire Aaron Glenn, then the Jets, I mean, what are you doing? I mean, the Jets
Mm,
again are an absolute mess all over the shop.
yeah,
They're gonna be up for they need a quarterback. They have so many roles on the roster. So I'm not envious about that situation at all. But anyway,
no.
let's finish this off with some predictions. Let's start off then with should we start off with Texans at Steelers? Because this is going to be a cold game. Houston coming into a hostile environment. Like you said, Guitar. I was absolutely gutted that the Ravens hadn't made the playoffs because I think they're a better team even at this stage than the Steelers. I think the Steelers have been very, very lucky. I think they've been very jammy this season.
Yeah.
However, the Texans coming in with probably the best, if not a top three defense. And their offense have been, CJ Stroud has had a really, really good second half to the season. So if you're asking me for my prediction, Guitar, I genuinely think that the Texans are going to win this one. What do you think?
I agree with you 100%. The Houston Texans, for me, are going through on this one as well. I just think the Steelers, yeah, they're not consistent. Week in and week out, we see some gaps in them. We see problems with them. They were very lucky to beat the Ravens. Ravens with the missed kick, they would have made the playoffs. John
Mm-hmm.
Harbaugh will still be in the job, funnily enough. But yeah, even with Aaron Rodgers, it's a great achievement to make the playoffs, especially with Aaron Rodgers at the helm. But the Houston Texans, they're very exciting teams. I think they are one of the best defense, top 2 or top 3 defense in the league. It will be difficult for Aaron Rodgers and the offense to go through that defense, I think. So I agree with you 100%. I think this is one of the easiest decisions in this wildcard
Yeah,
weekend. And yeah, I'm happy with the Houston Texans.
this next one is not going to be as easy per se. Sticking in
No,
the AFC, the second one, Buffalo at Jacksonville. Um,
yeah,
Jacksonville, what an incredible turnaround. As I
yeah.
mentioned at the beginning of the pod, what an incredible job Liam Cohen has done. Let's be honest, he's revived Trevor Lawrence's career. Uh, whether this is a one-off for Trevor Lawrence, we'll see in the matter of 9 months when the 2026 season will start. However, um, defensively, more than anything, the Jaguars have been absolutely sensational.
Mm.
Again, a brilliant second half to the season. Very, very strong at home. For me, Guitar, I can't see them losing, and I know this is and I know the whole thing about Josh Allen coming in. Their running back Cook has just won the. He's just won. He's come on at the top of the running backs. He's got the most yards out of any other running back. I can't remember what the name of the award is now, but anyway, he's the top running back in terms of yards. But honestly, I defensively, I feel Buffalo are very, very vulnerable at the moment. They have to
Mm.
travel on the road. If this was in Buffalo, Guitar, I'd see this. I'd see this. I'd probably flip this. But the fact that Jacksonville at home, I genuinely think that they're going to win this. I think that they've got all the momentum. Honestly, I think they've got the best coaching as well.
Yeah, this one was a bit. I do find this one very difficult to predict, and I can see it go either way, and I can understand the argument for both teams. Jacksonville Jaguars, we mentioned at the top of the episode, we gave Trevor Lawrence a bit of an ultimatum. We believe it was his last chance this season. With the way the last few seasons has been for the Jacksonville Jaguars, but they've exploded this season, especially during the second half of the season. They've exploded massively, and they won the division. So
Yeah.
they are an incredible team to watch. and Liam Cohen has done a great job in his first year as a head coach there. The Buffalo Bills, Josh Allen. This is his best chance, I believe. Obviously, it's his first playoffs. No Patrick Mahomes, no Lamar Jackson,
Yep.
no Joe Burrow. He can't have a better opportunity, I believe.
Guitar, this might be his
But
one and only opportunity, let's be honest. This might be his only
yeah,
opportunity.
and the Bills, their defense, especially their running defense, has been very inconsistent as well this season. As Falcons, we expose them massively on that part as well, and other
Yeah.
teams have as well. Um, they've won close games. Obviously, it was a very emotional last game against the Jets, playing their final game in that stadium, and I believe they have
Yeah.
played a final game in that stadium as well. If they do even make it to the AFC Championship, it'll still be an away leg for them. So they
Yes.
have played their final game there. Um,
Yeah.
but what a season it would be for them to actually make it through and win the Super Bowl with that final time being in that stadium. I have gone with a Bills win, but
Okay.
it's a very close call for me. I don't see. I don't want to give out too much on the divisional round, but I see them making it out of the wild card. I don't think this is going to be the end of the Bills this season, but it's going to be a very close game, very tough game. Like I said, I see arguments in both sides, and this was a very difficult one for me to predict, but I am going to go with a Buffalo win on this one.
Okay. For me, Guitar, I get everything that you're saying. I just don't think that the Buffalo Bills have a Super Bowl caliber roster.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
Defensively, for me, I think Jacksonville have potentially. They're going to run all over them. Travis Etienne has been absolutely magnificent. Again, he's had a revival this season as well. I think if they manage to get the run game going, Buffalo aren't going to be able to catch up because, again, do they, apart from Josh Allen and James Cook, do they have a lot of firepower on offense? No, for me. The wide receivers are very meh, if you ask me. Khalil Shakir, Keon Coleman, who has been all sorts of disciplinary issues this season, and I know they've got a really talented tight end in Kincaid, but
yeah,
he's been out. He's been injured a lot this season as well. So for me, Gito, I just hope. I hope the Jacksonville are going to get out of this one because
yeah,
because that's another coach, Gito. That's another coach that might be on the block as well. You never know what will happen up
yeah,
in Buffalo as well. You never know because, like we said, if it's going to be the Bills' time to win a Super Bowl, it has to be this year. Their
yeah.
window are closing and closing fast.
Mm.
Okay, so the last AFC wildcard game. This is another cracker. However, this is
Yeah,
another easy prediction for me. Chargers at Patriots. What are you going for,
yeah,
first of all?
yeah. First of all, before I give you my answer on this one, I'm going to
Yeah.
ask you a question that brings us back to the beginning of the regular season. You mentioned that the
Mm.
Chargers don't excite you. Have they been exciting you throughout the season?
Nope.
No.
No.
Wow.
No. I
Are you
mean,
surprised that they made the playoffs?
I am surprised. I'm surprised.
Mm.
I think they're very lucky because of what's happened to the Chiefs this year. I think,
Okay.
honestly, I think the Chargers are an average team. They have, I mean, Justin Herbert has been absolutely, but he's battered and bruised this year, Gitter. How he's been
Mm.
able to survive behind that O line, I will never know. Um, when they played us at Miami, I believe it was halfway through the season. I wasn't impressed with them at all. They had a lot of injuries at that point. And yeah, Lad McConkey is an okay wide receiver. Um, it's all Justin Herbert Gitto because if he isn't 100%, let's be honest, the Chargers don't have an absolute. They don't have a chance. They don't have a chance. And to be honest with you, I wouldn't give them a chance against the Patriots as well. That I find the Patriots defense is just suffering at the moment. They just absolutely they will just kind of going back to how they used to be under Bill Belichick. They just remind me of
Mm.
the old Patriot way where they just suffocate you on offense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Personally, I think the weather is going to be a massive issue for the Chargers as
Mm.
well. They're going to have to run the ball. If they can't run the ball, I genuinely can't see them catching up with Drake May because, the Patriots are going to put a lot of points on the board. So for me, this isn't, for me, Guitar, I don't know, this is an easy Patriots win for me.
Yeah, I do agree with you. By the way, I wasn't hinting towards a Chargers win at all. I was
Yeah.
just trying to bring back the week one thing that we had. But yeah, I do agree with you. The Patriots, the Patriots is such a great team this season. I love watching the Patriots this season. I think even though they've won the Super Bowl 7 times, it's still refreshing to see them in this playoffs with the teams that they've got and everything. And I praised them during the free agency last season. I think they did really well, and I was very
Yeah.
excited to see how far they would go. I didn't actually predict them to actually make the playoffs, so that's the thing. So I was
Nice.
very incorrect in that when we were doing the predictions, but they've been such an exciting team. Obviously, they beat us by 1 or 2 points, whatever it was.
Mm.
Um, but the Patriots, yeah, I'm very keen on the Patriots this season. I'm very keen to see how far they can actually go. I do hope we get a Patriots Denver in the AFC game. I think that will be the greatest game of the
I
season.
agree.
I think that'll
I
be
agree.
the game of the decade. I think those two teams are the two best teams in the NFL, the Patriots and the Broncos. I do hope we get to see them in the AFC
Mm.
championship game. We'll have to wait and see on that one, by the way. But yes, I am going as well with a Patriots win on this one.
Yeah, I completely agree. That would be ultimately for me. That would be the best matchup
Yeah,
in terms of the AFC.
yeah,
And it wouldn't surprise me, Gito, if we would actually get that in the AFC Championship round.
yeah.
However, it like we said, it's so unpredictable. So unpredictable. You never know what's going to win. So there we are. Okay, so that's the AFC side. Let's quickly jump onto the NFC to finish this off. Where should we start? Should we start with Niners at Eagles, Gito? What have
Mm.
you got on this one?
Um, so the 49ers, okay, so the 49ers, on paper, they've had the easiest schedule out of every team. They always rank the schedules before the regular season. They were ranked as the easiest one on paper. Um,
Who
they've
have the
done really
Gito
well.
before you go on? I know we've been
Yeah.
sorry. I know we've been praising the Patriots. The only asterisk that I would put on this season is their strength of schedule as well, because everyone is talking about it. I think the
Yeah.
Patriots have the second easiest strength of schedule behind the Niners this year.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think the 49ers have done pretty well considering the amount of injuries they've had to face, especially at the start of the
Incredibly
season.
well. Incredibly well.
They've done really well. Brandon Ayuk, he was out for the season, wasn't he? He's still out. He
Yeah.
had a torn ACL against the Buccaneers. I remember that game very well. I was actually in Cardiff watching that game, so so I do remember that game very well. So they've done really well to get into the playoffs against an Eagles team who are looking to do a two-peat. I think that's the word, two-peat.
Yeah. Two P. Yeah.
A repeat of last season. I've got the Eagles scraping a win in this one. Not even scraping a win. I think the Eagles might win this a little bit, not too comfortable, but they won't have a lot to worry about. I think so. I'm going to go with the Eagles win on this one.
Yeah, I'm a little bit torn on this one, Gito, because I remember this matchup in a regular season game last year where the Niners came into Philadelphia and absolutely blew them away. And that was when
Yeah.
we saw McCaffrey at his best. And he has regained some of that form. He's been a joy to watch this season. Obviously, he
Yeah.
started the year injured. Kittle's been out as well. Even Brock Purdy has been out as well. So I have to say, and I never thought that I'd say this, but I think Mac Jones has done an absolutely brilliant job managing that team. However, they've got an absolute genius as a head coach as well. Um, it's an easy system to be a QB getter in San Francisco. It's very very QB friendly, so I get that. But I think reluctantly I will go with the Eagles. The
Mm.
Eagles again don't excite me as a team. I find them a little bit boring. Um, I'm glad to see that AJ Brown has finally decided to come, to join us in the NFL this season. After kind of sitting out the first half and then throwing a fit, and then all of a sudden they started throwing to him as well, and then he's been playing really, really well towards the last
Yeah.
end, towards to the end of the season. Um, yeah, I'd probably give the Eagles a victory on this one again. I think it's going to be close. This is probably going to be played in the snow, guitar, really, really cold conditions, and I probably
Yeah.
think that the
Yeah.
Eagles would probably favour that a little bit more than the 49ers.
Yeah. No. Yeah, I agree with you. It's interesting that the weather and the conditions can tell a lot about how you play as a team and how the results go. They usually
Massively.
doesn't, if you're the home team, usually play in the snow, it doesn't usually go against you. So
Mm,
I think that is a factor to bring in as well. So I am happy to go with the Philadelphia. Can we just go back quickly to your AFC prediction? So you predicted the Houston Texans, the Jacksonville Jaguars, and the New England Patriots.
yes.
You did. Okay. So your divisional round would be the Houston Texans against the Denver Broncos and the Jacksonville Jaguars against the New England Patriots. Just so you have
Right.
that in mind as well, so we can predict that later on or in the next
Yes.
episode.
Yeah.
You've gone for the Philadelphia against. Yeah, so I've gone for the Philadelphia as well. So that's the end of our Philadelphia one. Should we go? I think this one might be a little bit of an easier one to
Mm,
predict, although obviously surprises can happen. The LA Rams against the Carolina Panthers. The Carolina Panthers,
yes.
their first playoffs in over 5 years, I believe.
Oh, I'd say I think it's more than that. I'd think.
Yeah.
I think the
It's
last time they were in
70s.
the playoffs,
Six.
Guitar,
No,
was
it is.
when Cam Newton was QB. I
Yeah.
think it's
Mm.
been a minute.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Do you see them
yeah,
making a splash in the playoffs?
I think it's been. I think it's going to be one step too far. I think it's going to be closer than a lot of people think. But I mean, I look at what Puka Nakua has been able to achieve this year. Guitar blows my mind. He is evolving into one of the best all-rounded wide receivers in the NFL. Some of the, you've got some of the best, you've got flashes of brilliance like the one-handed catch that we saw a couple of weeks ago, which is absolutely ridiculous. And he's been doing this for the last couple of weeks without Devontae Adams, who's been out injured as
Yeah.
well. So I'm not sure if he's going to be
Mm.
back for this wild card round. At times, Matthew Stafford looks like an MVP kind of player.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
if they're able to run the ball with Kyron Williams, and I love their number two running back, by the way, Blake Corum. I think he's an absolute steal. I think he's brilliant. Yeah, I just think the Panthers aren't quite going to be able to catch up with the high flying offense of the LA Rams. However, I've been very, very impressed by the Panthers, especially at home. Bryce
Mm.
Young, wow, did not expect that from him as well. Didn't know. I didn't even think that he had that he had it in him. So he's definitely proved a role of people Wong and potentially Tate. McMillan is going to win Rookie of the Year potentially. He's had a brilliant year, hasn't he?
Yeah. He has. He has. Yeah. I've been very impressed with Tate McMillan. Yeah, and the Carolina Panthers. Pains for me to say it, considering they won our division. But yeah, they've just surged out of nowhere as well. They've been very impressive to make the playoffs, even with a losing record of 8-9. But that's what the NFC South is all about. It's
Yeah,
not a very exciting division. I do believe. Quick note: I do believe the NFC South will be very, very exciting and interesting next season. But that's a take for another episode.
yeah,
But yeah, I just think the LA Rams has too much on them, and obviously Puka Nakua, Devontae Adams. great wide receiver duo. I love that wide receiver duo. Matthew Stafford, potential MVP. I do think it's between Stafford and Drake May. I think those are the top two candidates right now.
If
But yeah,
they won't give it to them because they never give it to a defensive player, Gito. But if it was for me, I'd put Miles Garrett in as well. And what he's been able to do with a sack
yeah,
record, I'd put.
yeah,
It's not going to
yeah,
happen. It always is an offensive player, but I'd put Miles Garrett's name in there as well as an as an
100%.
honourable mention.
100%. Yes. What a record that is as well. But yeah, in terms of this matchup with the LA Rams and Carolina Panthers, I'm happy to go with the LA Rams as well.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah, I think they have a lot to prove in this playoffs. I think
Yeah.
they've proven to be one of the heavyweights, so they're going to have to prove it, and they're going to progress for me. And yeah, I think I do think this will be just a little bit of an easy one for them. But even though Panthers will have their moments, but not enough against this Rams team.
Mm. So the last one then, Gito, is an NFC North matchup: Packers at Chicago. Um,
Yeah,
so I think I predicted the Chicago Bears to win the NFC to get the first seed. They didn't. They still managed to win the division, which is
yeah,
incredible. Again, what a turnaround. They've proved to me, Gito, throughout the regular season that they can go on the road and win. They're very, very strong at home. And I genuinely do fancy them against the Packers because, again, the Packers for me have been very, very inconsistent. Um, they've had some really, really good wins at the Lions, and for they swept the Lions actually.
mm.
But for me, Chicago with their running game, I think I've been very impressed with obviously what Caleb Williams has done. I really like their first round pick in Corsten Loveland as well on tight as at tight end. I think he's
Yeah.
going to turn into a really, really nice tight end as a receiver and as a blocker as well. But yeah, I think this is a little bit more of me wanting the Chicago story to pursue and to go on, Gito. So for me, I'm going to pick the Bears in this one.
Yeah, I think in my predictions, I've gone with the Bears as well. I'm an opposite to you. I want to see the Green Bay do well. I think I have a soft spot for the Green Bay. I don't know why. I don't know where it's come from, but I do have a soft spot for Green Bay, and I want to see them succeed. I'm a massive
Mm.
fan of Jordan Love, and
Mhm.
their offensive defense is great as well. But I love this story about the Chicago Bears as well. And looking at this game, this matchup that's coming up, which I believe is a Sunday morning game. So it's a Saturday night game. It'll be live for us at 1 o'clock in the morning, Sunday morning.
Okay.
So I'm probably going to try and stay up for that one. Um, I think this is going to be one of them story games as well, I believe. I'm not too sure. But the Green Bay against the Bears, it always delivers. It's always a banger. Even when the Bears a couple of seasons ago were one of the worst teams in the league at the point, it is always a banger. So I am hoping and I am expecting this one to be another banger as well. I think this will be out of all the wildcard games this weekend. I think this one is going to hit the most. I think this one will be the best one. I
Okay.
hope anyway. So I'm eating my words there. Um, But yeah, I agree that the Green Bay, they've been very up and down this season as well. They started off the season brilliantly, lost to the Browns, I believe, which they should
Yeah,
have
they
been
did.
3-0. But
Yeah.
so they, I just don't. Their confidence for me is up and down for the Green Bay. And Chicago is flying. Caleb Williams, he he said in a interview recently regarding this playoff game, he put, "I am built for these moments." So he's very confident in himself, and he's proving it right as well. He's doing exceptional this season. An amazing story, considering
Mm.
what we said in the first four games that we thought he was going to be benched.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I've decided I am going to go with the Chicago Bears on this one as well.
I mean, I don't. Well, they obviously both teams are used to the cold, but I can imagine it's going to be exceptionally cold up in Chicago. This is going to be
Yeah,
potentially a snow game.
yeah,
Um, I'll have to. Yeah, I haven't seen the forecast, but I can imagine it's going to be exceptionally cold. Obviously, you can't get any colder than Green Bay, as they say. Um,
yeah,
so both teams are going to be. Um, are going to be used to the cold conditions and things like that. But I think it's going to come down, Gito, to running the football because of these cold conditions. And personally, I think the Bears do that better than the Packers do. So ultimately,
yeah.
that's another thing for me. I don't know. I think the Bears at home are going to be too strong. They've got a really really good coach, offensive coach, and the defense have proven really really well, especially when they came up against Eagles at Philadelphia as well in the regular season. So yeah, I'd love to see Chicago, plow on because I'd love to see them in the divisional round and further. Um,
Yeah.
and yeah, I'd like to see them because so we've predicted Gito the Eagles to win, the Rams to win, and the Bears to win. So
Yeah, so that would leave us with the Bears against the Eagles and a heavyweight fixture, the Rams against the Seahawks, which is
oh,
gutting that this isn't the NFC, which is gutting that this is not the NFC Championship game, because these two
absolutely
are the best in the NFC. These two are the best in the
yes.
NFC. Despite the Rams being fifth in the NFC, this should be the NFC Championship game. We might
Mm.
get it early, so this one is
Mm.
an exciting one to watch. Philadelphia and the Bears as well. That's going to be an interesting one to predict. That's going to be a difficult one to predict, I think, as well. Depending on what we see this weekend, it's going to be great. But it's the playoffs. Anything can happen.
Rams Seahawks as well, Gito. That's the rerun of I believe it was week 16. It was a Thursday
Yeah,
night game when well, it was a high scoring game. Seahawks eventually went for it on a two point conversion at the end of the game to win the game. Ultimately, Puka Nacua went for over 200 yards. He went absolutely nuts in that game as well. So obviously, if history can repeat itself, like I said, it's not going to. It's probably not going to happen in the championship in the championship round. Um, but yeah, like you said, that's a mouth-watering matchup once again. It's going to be interesting to see. It's going to be again up in Seattle, cold conditions. Just quickly, Gito, before we end, because those are all the predictions. Who would you give at the moment? Who would you give Coach of the Year to?
I did. I wrote this down somewhere the other day. I completely forgot. So if you just bear with me just 2 seconds,
No, well, I'll
um,
give you mine then. For me,
go for it.
it's between Mike McDonald, which is the head coach of the Seattle Seahawks.
Yeah,
What he's been able to do on both ends. I know he's a defensive mind. He was a former defensive coordinator of the Baltimore Ravens. The only other candidate for me has to be Ben Johnson, which is the Chicago Bears head coach.
mm,
What the turnaround he's
yeah,
been able to do and their high flying offense. A lot of people would say Liam Cohen as well in Jacksonville, but for me, those are the
yeah.
two that stand out the most.
I'm going to give you three names that I've written down. I do agree with Ben Johnson as well, so I'm going to put him as a fourth. But I've actually gone with Mike McDonald as well for the
Okay.
Seahawks. I wrote down Mike Vrabel as well
Yeah, fair, fair,
for
fair.
the Patriots. And this one might be a bit of an off one. I've put Kyle Shanahan with the job that he's done with the the injuries that he's had to deal with
Good
to make it
shout.
to the playoffs. I think he
Good
does
shout.
deserve a shout out.
hmm I completely agree with that.
Can
Yeah,
we? I would like to end this episode, David,
yeah.
on this. The schedule for every team has come out for next season. I want your reaction to the Dolphins, and
Mm.
I'll do my reaction to the Falcons as well. I'm going to go through the Dolphins quickly with you. So your home fixtures, you obviously got your 3 divisions teams: the Bills, the Patriots, the Jets. The rest of your home schedule fixtures, you've got the Kansas City Chiefs, the LA Chargers, the Chicago Bears, the Detroit Lions, and the Cincinnati Bengals. Those are your home fixtures. Your away fixtures, the 3 Bills, Patriots, Jets. Then you've got the Raiders, the Vikings, the Green Bay Packers, Indianapolis Colts, Denver Broncos, and the 49ers. What's your reaction to that?
Lol. That's all I had to say about that, Gito. I mean, so when the schedule came out, I think it was today or yesterday. I
Yeah.
think starting from now, because obviously a lot of things can change, and a lot of things do change, because obviously,
Yeah. Yeah.
some teams 1 year are, like we've seen, have just literally flipping up and down, going from the best to the worst, and vice versa as well. But on paper at the moment, Gito, I think the Dolphins have one of the hardest schedules in the NFL. And a lot of people, insiders, are predicting, especially with our quarterback situation and our cap situation, that the Dolphins are gonna potentially only have between 3 and 5 wins next year. And you know what? That
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't surprise me. It's it's the beginning of a rebuild. We might
Yeah.
have, well, we're definitely going to have a new GM. We might have a new head coach. We might have we're definitely going to have a new quarterback. Tua Tagovailoa. It's a very messy divorce, Gito, between himself and the Miami Dolphins. An extremely expensive divorce as well. It's absolutely
Yeah.
fast. He basically came out today, Gito, and he requested a trade. Um, they basically asked him in
Wow.
the media, yeah. They basically said, um, if you'd have an opportunity to go elsewhere, do you think that would be the best for you? And he said, yes, that would be. I think that would be best for both parties. So it looks
Yeah.
like the Dolphins are going to take potentially $100 million cap hit this year to release, because I
Mm.
don't think that anyone's going to trade for for Tua. Let's be honest.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm reading a headline here on NFL.com. Tua says fresh start from Dolphins following mid-season benching would be
Dope.
dope.
Yeah,
Um,
dope.
dope. With the subtitle, the ending of Tua's 2025 season suggested he might be headed elsewhere in 2026. And
Mm.
judging by how the Dolphins QB responded to questions regarding his future on Monday, he might be for it.
Oh, 100%.
So,
Good luck. He's
yeah, he
the
will be
Dolphins
for
have
it.
moved. The Dolphins have moved on,
Yeah.
and it's basically because his body is shutting down on him. It's quite sad, actually, if you look
Mm.
at it that way, because he's been dealing with so many injuries. We've talked about this in the last 2 pods about Tua. Uh, his body has
Yeah.
basically given up, and he's unable to throw, even at, I'd say, even at 50% of what he could do 2 years ago. The decline has been so obvious this year, over the last 2 years, but
Mm.
especially this year. But anyway, I don't want to dwell on that, because I'm
Yeah.
inside Gito. I'm actually quite excited to see what the next step is going to be with the Dolphins. There's been a lot of terrible decisions that have been made over the last decade and more. I just really hope that they're gonna turn favors around, and they're gonna commit, and they're gonna have a new GM, and hopefully we're gonna go in a right direction for once. But
Mm.
it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be rough. It's gonna be rough potentially for the next couple of seasons for us.
Yeah. 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 Yeah, doesn't look like an easy situation to be in. I think as a Dolphins fan, you just want to kind of rip the band-aid off and just get everything over
Oh
with
yeah,
and start again.
absolutely,
So
absolutely,
it's just one of them things. It's just a dwelling thing. You just want to get it over and done with and start fresh again. So
100%.
yeah, I can agree with you on that one. If I was a Dolphin fan as well, David. Can I give you the Falcons schedule? Because when I first read this, I was bit of a mixed emotions on this one, actually. I'm going to
Hmm.
give you our road fixtures first. So the 3 divisions: the Panthers, the Saints, and the Buccaneers. And then on the road, we've got the Green Bay Packers, the Minnesota Vikings, the Washington Commanders, the Cleveland Browns, and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Bit of mix of everything.
Yeah.
Our home schedule is our three divisions: Panthers, Saints, Bucks, the Chicago Bears, the Detroit Lions, the 49ers, the Baltimore Ravens, the Cincinnati Bengals, and the Kansas City Chiefs. Bear in mind, the Falcons as well are confirmed to have an international fixture this coming season as well.
Interesting.
So it'll be interesting to see which one of them home teams will be coming down as well. I know the Saints are playing in France as well.
Yeah.
So we'll see. But yeah, a very interesting home schedule there for us as well. So when I first read that, I got a little bit nervous. I was a little bit nervous on that one, especially with so whoever comes in as a head coach has a very difficult schedule, especially in his first season to play with. So we'll have to make a lot of movements in the free agency and the draft to strengthen the team a little bit. But like I said at the beginning, it's a new era for the Falcons. It's something to be excited about. Obviously, I'm sad to see Raheem Morris go, just because his personality and his positivity that he brought to the team, even though we've had some tough times, especially this season with the backstage politics and everything, etc. But it's not nice to see a head coach go. But you have to look forward to who's coming next and building the team towards the next few seasons, because it's a 2 or 3 year. It's got to be a 2-3 year project, regardless. So whoever comes in, I'll back him all the way. And yeah, looking at the fixture is going to be a difficult one, but yeah, we'll have to wait and see. I'm very excited.
You've said it all, Guto, and I think we've said it all. We've just hit the hour mark here on the NFL, on our first episode of 2026, by the way. We hope that you enjoy the wildcard round. I think there's going to be... I mean, who else? I mean, we've had a bit of breaking news during when we've been taping, which has been fantastic, and we've given our predictions, and there are some absolutely cracking matchups there, and who knows, that I'm sure there will be a shock or two on wildcard weekend. But anyway, we will be back to discuss, to preview, and to look back over the wildcard rounds next week, and we'll probably delve more into predictions and maybe past predictions, Gito, to see how right/very wrong we were, because obviously, like we've already mentioned, that it's been an extremely unpredictable NFL season, and we're just getting started with the playoffs, obviously, with the Super Bowl on the horizon. But for now, for myself and Gito, Happy New Year to all of you. Enjoy Wildcard Weekend, and we'll see you next week.